So do you think we should start off this episode by singing in the Tiki 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 room, in the Tiki 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 room,
all the birds sing words and the flowers croon in the Tiki 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 room.
So, I wonder what this video is going to be about.
I don't know. What do you think?
So, obviously, Disney has Trader Sam's. They created their own tiki bar that's in Orlando and in Disneyland in Anaheim. But before there was Trader Sam's, there was the Enchanted Tiki room. And the Enchanted Tiki room actually has its own mugs and paraphernalia and things that you can buy. And as I'm looking at this table, there's quite a lot.
There is.
So I'm going to let you take the reins, Jeanie. Where do we begin? Because there's a lot.
Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Never mind. So when they first put out stuff for the Enchanted Tiki room, it was a one-off or a two-off. It was just, what can we put in the Adventureland Bazaar that's from the Tiki room that people might like and might buy? And well, a bunch of those things are really out of reach now. Like I just saw a Tangaroa baby, which is just a little teeny statue, smaller than these guys, that popped up on eBay, and I wanted it really bad. Yeah. I didn't end up with it because it skyrocketed and went to like more than $600.
Oh God, that's insane.
For a piece of pottery.
Yeah.
There are other things, if you want to collect stuff from Disney, that you can get. There are some of these things on this table that are not reasonable, but there are a whole bunch of other things that are. And Disney's cranking out stuff for this Tiki room all the time. And so you can find something that really suits you.
So when did they start really making stuff for the Enchanted Tiki room, as far as mugs and paraphernalia?
Well, from the very beginning, they had things that were specific to the Tiki room, but they were one-off or two-off, or they picked a mass market thing like a Tiki charm or something like that people identified with the Tiki room, but it wasn't made specifically for the Tiki room. Yeah. Or like that the Tangaroa baby that I was talking about. It was a statue that was specifically part of the Tiki room, but there weren't very many of them, and mostly it was just there as a look there, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
They weren't selling you. They weren't even prepared for like the T-shirt market yet when they created the Tiki room. So as Disney marketing moved along, they kind of caught on, and they caught on. Oh, people want stuff from specific attractions. Wow, that's new.
Yeah.
You know? And so a lot of it came out as housewares. Or collectibles specific, like, there were a lot of snow domes or things like that. Yeah. But for the Tiki room, they had real trouble figuring out what we're going to market for that. Oh, let's get them a magic snake or something like that.
Magic snake. Yeah. But you were saying actually that the popularity in the Enchanted Tiki room was starting to go down over the years to the point where they're actually thinking about like shutting it down. Yeah.
So, and it actually wasn't that long ago. It was like around the turn of the century, our century.
Yeah.
They had talked about doing a major refurb on the original Tiki room in Anaheim.
Oh, wow.
That would have changed its storyline or removed it altogether. And there was actually a grassroots campaign of Save the Tiki Room, where a bunch of people, many people, it was one of the first things I saw fly over the internet, where they were gathering people via the internet to show Disney how much they would make their public angry if they massively messed with the Tiki room or got rid of it.
Yeah.
Because the thing that makes the Tiki room special is that one of the very first audio animatronic things to ever happen in Disneyland is the Tiki room.
Is it really?
Yes. So the very first animatronic is not from the Tiki room. It's Great Conversations with Mr. Lincoln. He's the first animatronic. He was the one that was taken to the World's Fair. Right after that, the first attraction that Walt ever put together with animatronics was the Tiki room.
Wow.
So all the pneumatics, all of the birds moving, all of the flip tops, all of the poles moving parts and pieces. That was all brand new territory. It was a really awesome, amazing new thing. And so they went to the Nine Old Men, who are a lot of the backbone of what happened in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And they did a whole bunch of different concept sketches. And those characters that you see and identify in the Tiki Room each have a personality. They all have a backstory. They're all developed.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them fun and interesting. So like the chanting tiki poles, you'll see a bunch of my pieces are involving the chanting tiki poles and the drummers. And so like one of the first pieces I ever picked up was this chanting tiki pole tiki mug.
Oh, wow.
And the fun part was you turned them around and they had a back too.
Let me see.
So there's a front and a back.
So when did this come out?
I picked that one up around, I think, 2000?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Where they had just caught on, oh, Tiki Room, Tiki Drink, we should make mugs. It only took them
It took them till 2000.
Yeah, the late 90s, somewhere in there. It's like when they first started figuring out, oh, people don't want coffee mugs from the Tiki Room.
No.
They like a Tiki mug, thank you.
Yeah.
And so these came out in a bunch of different colors, and I got the one that, oh, well, it's a Tiki mug. It really should be kind of earth tones. But there's like a screaming blue one and a bright red one and that kind of stuff. This is a record from the 1960s or 70s.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes it special is most of these records, because they were meant for children, are beat to hell. The paper packaging is destroyed. The record is unplayable because they were just meant for kids.
Songs from Walt Disney's The Enchanted Tiki Room.
I'm a child's plaything.
Yeah. So there's that record,
Wow.
and then there's the other Holy Grail Disney record, which happens to be right here.
That you're gonna break.
I won't break it.
Yeah.
That and that. So this one
Yeah, we haven't been drinking.
comes in this book. And the neat thing about this record is when you open it, it's also a storybook. And it shows you
Wow.
concept art and sketches and photographs and some things that are missing now, like you wouldn't know it, but there was a Tahitian terrace. And then it goes into the full narration of the Jungle Cruise ride, which is
On the
awesome.
record.
On the record.
That's insane.
Yeah. So it's super fun, and that one's kind of hard to find, but I had to
Wow.
have it because it has the singing birds. And then they decided that, well, this is a cool idea, and people want to buy it. So every time there's an anniversary for the Tiki Room, let's put out something new,
Okay.
which is a total Disney thing now to do.
Every anniversary.
Every anniversary, it's the 67th anniversary of the. It doesn't even have to be a 0 or a 5 anymore. So a bunch of this stuff has all been put out for different anniversaries.
Yeah.
So the first anniversary I was really in shopping for, and they really kind of marketed, was the 40th. And so those pieces are like, okay, maybe we should do him.
So we're gonna do this one first?
Yeah.
It's
And he's tricky. He does tricks. So this is another chanting tiki pole, but this isn't one big long drink. This is 3 little ones.
oh god. Really?
And, yeah. And each is glazed in a different color.
Oh wow. Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
actually that's like a maroon orange.
Yeah. And there's a green and a yellow. And you build the tiki pole out of it.
Do they all come together as one?
Yes, they all came in one big box.
Oh my god.
And then there's a lot of museum wax to hold them all together.
The thing I think about is that, like you're talking about to do all the animatronics for the Enchanted Tiki Room. They started off with Abe Lincoln, right? Mm-hmm. One guy talking to like, all right, an entire room of like, what, hundreds
Yeah.
of different things
There are
talking and
hundreds of
singing and
different-
everything
and
like
moving.
that. you know.
And they do it every 15 minutes
That's
for all day
amazing.
long, 300 and something days a year since 1963.
It's amazing.
And they've only had a couple major refurbs. In fact, they're going through one right now. So after they've opened up this new eating area that they've done, the Tropical Hideaway,
Yeah.
they put the Tiki Room to rest for a little while, and they have been completely cleaning up, redoing, and refurbing all of the original fixtures inside. So
But the important thing is the Enchanted Tiki Room isn't going away anytime soon.
and they're not changing it. It's not like the under new management thing, which was not good.
No.
So in that same vein, in that same anniversary kind of release, we had the Pele,
What the hell?
and so in the garden
Yeah.
there are all the tikis, and they all do stuff.
Yeah.
And Pele, as you know, shoots fire out of her hat.
It's a
and-
big ass mug.
Yeah, and it's a mug with a lid.
Wow.
So, and these are really hard to come by.
There's weight to this thing.
Yeah, the Pele's are very popular. So I'm very happy to have one.
Wow.
And let's see, on the bottom, this one doesn't have a date, but I think this is the 40th anniversary.
That's amazing.
And they put this one out. And that takes us through 40. Then 45 happened, and that's, you get these, the chanting tiki pole, and you get this holy grail
What the
of tiki. So from this angle, it just looks like a tiki bowl with a couple of handles, right?
That's what it looks like.
So, but you haven't seen her face. So this is the goddess Uti bowl.
Are you serious?
Yes, and she's really, really rare because since she's big and clunky and has brass bits and that, they only made about 250 of them.
Yeah.
And so I was
250.
total
That's it.
for all the parks.
Wow. Oh, for
And-
all the parks?
For all the parks. Everything, there's only 250 in existence. And so most of my mugs I bought at Disney when I was down there. So one of the very last ones sitting in a box at Adventureland Traders, and I sent her home because she was awesome. And as you can see, I like the goddess Uti because she's the goddess of fishing and fun and, you know, soft wind breezes on the ocean.
Oh, God, there's some weight to this thing.
Yeah, it's really huge.
But, again, it ain't like this was something that you would order drinks out of or anything like that. It was just, here you go. Here's this bowl attached to the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yeah.
Damn. So how much if you were to buy one of these, if you would have bought one of these how much would it have been?
When I originally bought that, I think it was $80.
So is $80 out the door? Well, rightfully so. It's substantial.
Yeah. Oh, the original sticker's on the bottom. I didn't take it off. Originally, she was $70.
$70.
And she's a limited edition, and it says how many there were made. There were made limited edition of 300.
300. Wow.
And that kind of takes us to who makes these, who designs these for Disney.
Yeah.
Because they're really important. Because if it's going to be really cool looking, it's probably made by these people. And those people are Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly. And they're awesome.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Jody.
Your work is awesome.
Are they,
I love it.
are they still alive?
Yes, they
All
are.
right. Hey, how's it going?
They are. And they recently did a show of a bunch of Disney stuff, and they have a really active Facebook page.
Wow.
So that's 45. Then 50 rolls around.
Okay.
And they put out a bunch of cool stuff. So one of the other characters in the garden is Rongo.
Yes.
And this is Rongo the bowl.
What?
Not to be mistaken for Rongo
The
the tiki mug with the straw topper.
crazy.
So this is Rongo. And I too tend to keep the tags on them because the Disney tags are really actually kind of cool. They have a lot of information on them, and they at least make their tags pretty. So I will usually keep those.
Well, I think the interesting thing as they're going through these is how they establish that the Enchanted Tiki Room has characters.
Yeah.
That these aren't just random tikis.
they all are a tiki of something. So
Yeah.
this is Rongo
Oh wow.
as a tiki bowl, and then the place for the straw is in his little hat.
It's awesome.
And each of the tikis is a tiki of something. So like Uti, here we'll pick her
Yeah,
up.
what is this? This
So
is not a tiki mug.
This is not a mug. This is a statue that was done for the 50th anniversary, and this is the goddess Uti,
Oh wow.
and she's the goddess of fishing and the sea. She's
That's awesome.
yeah, and the art for these is so awesome. And
Yeah, it's.
I'm afraid to be wrong, but I think it's Royally Crump
Okay.
is the designer for the Tiki Room. And they also did a Pele when they did the statues.
Oh, wow.
And I love it that when the Daily and Kidney team did these, they did them in full color. I know it's Clown Tiki, but there's Disney Clown Tiki and there's Target Clown Tiki.
No, the thing is, it doesn't look cheap at all. It doesn't look stupid.
And
It looks awesome to me.
and then they did stuff as well.
They
like
did
stuff. You know, it and you always wonder, what do you do with it, right? So I got Tom this really cool box.
So
And it's made by Uzeski, and he is a
box.
it's a box.
It's just a box. Yeah,
It's
okay.
just a box, and we're like, okay, so
Yeah, you
it's-
don't want to
it's-
drink out of it.
It's Tiki Room and it's awesome, but it's a box. What are you going to do with it? So for years, it sat on Tom's bar with straws in it, and then I looked it up on eBay and went, oh wow, that's like a $300 box sitting on his bar. If somebody knocks that over when they're drinking, that's a bad thing. Oops.
Yeah, so
So-
then you move it.
So then I moved it to a shelf. You know, have to be a little practical occasionally. And then the Kidney and Daily team also did other stuff. So like there was a special event at a museum
Yeah.
to celebrate kind of Disney Tiki, and they created a mug specifically for the event. So they would take things from the Tiki Room or from Disney and make a riff on them.
Yeah.
Artistically. And so this is Mehana, the god of the Orange Grove.
Oh, that's a cool mug.
And he was for the 1996 Anaheim Museum exhibit Tiki, Native Drums in the Orange Grove. And it was on Tiki, Polynesian pop in Orange County. And it came with a we'll tell them why I'm laughing. It came with a recipe and a description inside the mug. And the recipe is for the drink, the Mehana, which ended up in a Beach Bum Berry book. And this is him, and he has the orange insides because he's the orange god of the Orange Grove. And
That's great.
of course, I have a Mehana in here. But I wanted one for quite some time. So thank you to Mr. on eBay who put it up because it was awesome. And then the last riff that I have that I can talk about,
Yes.
you can probably reach him better than I
Right here.
can.
This is a Tiki Tony, right?
This is a Tiki Tony.
I'll tell you what, his stuff stands out. When you see a Tiki Tony, you know it.
Yes. So this is his drummer mug.
Wow.
And he's super fun to deal with and super fun to listen to because he's a real gas when I sat in on his class. And, you know, he sends little extras and things like the Echo Don't Kill the Planet straw that came with this particular one.
This has a cocktail on it.
Yep. And that one has the recipe that goes in it. And, but his stuff really stands out because he does really high definition.
Yes.
And this was one of the first ones I saw that he did that was Tiki Room specific. He also has done a Jungle Cruise boat, and boat is spelled in an unusual way. So when you look it up, it's BOTE.
Wow.
And he did one I lust after, which is the I Lava You bowl
I love you.
from the Pixar short I Lava You. And so beside housewares, which there are a couple out, because occasionally they put things out that are just housewares. So this was a Enchanted Tiki Room inspired mug that wasn't specific to an anniversary. They just did it
They
as
just
an
made it.
Adventureland
Wow.
thing. And there's a bowl over there that is the same where they take the this one is, I can actually tell you the tiki that's on here. This is Disney's interpretation of the Tiki Maui.
Yeah.
And they have two renditions of Maui. One is Maui, the water clock, who's in the Tiki Room garden. And then this particular Maui is the Maui that is Maui the Sunbringer, who regulates daylight, from the Polynesian Village Resort in Walt Disney World.
Wow.
So
I think what's fascinating about all this is like, well, first of all, Disney is its own universe to begin with, right? And I think what's cool about this is even in that universe, there's Adventureland. And in Adventureland, you have the Enchanted Tiki Room. And not including the Trader Sam's Tiki bars, you have this whole universe, this whole ecosystem with characters and different things that's completely its own thing. I love that. So there's a lot of people that I've met that have gotten into Tiki specifically from the Enchanted Tiki Room.
I must admit that was my gateway drug. I was 8 years old. It was 1976, and I sat down. I was hot. I was uncomfortable because I had never been in any place as warm as California.
Yeah.
I had a Dole Whip in my hand, which is awesome. You can eat in the Tiki Room.
Yeah.
Just saying. Dole Whip in my hand, lights went down, lights came up, birds started to sing, and poles were snapping at me, and flowers were moving back and forth like you were in a dream, and I loved Tiki ever after.
And let me guess, when you were sitting there, you're thinking to yourself, all this needs now is rum.
I was thinking, hey, this would make a really cool place to eat. And then I thought about, ooh, birds over my head. Poop, not a good idea.
No.
But, yes, the addition of rum to this is perfection.
Yeah, there you go. I think Jeanie says it best. It's Tiki. The Enchanted Tiki Room with rum is perfection. Thank you for showing me all your stuff.
Thank you.
Now you got to put it all back. Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.